Welcome back to another One Piece review. This time I'm covering episodes 48 to 51. So for a brief recap, if it's been a while since you've seen these, basically everyone arrives at Log Town and then everyone basically splits up. We've got a few different storylines. We have Luffy who learns about Gold Roger and then he has a fight with Smoker, and then that's like basically his whole storyline in this set of episodes. We've got Zoro who runs into a marine swordsman called, I wrote her name down, Tashigi, and then he has to scrub the floors to like pay for her glasses, and then he goes and buys a cursed sword, and that's his storyline. Then we've got Usopp who runs into Daddy the Parent and has a whole storyline there. And then we have Sanji who runs into, basically finds himself in a cooking competition and ends up winning. And then the episodes end with Smoker, Alvida, and Buggy all seemingly heading to where Luffy is, which is in front of the execution platform for Gold Roger, or I guess on the top of it right now. So yeah. Now, a preface to like, before I start talking about stuff, last week I told you how, oh my god, Miller the Killer, he told me about all the stuff coming up, like filler and not filler and all that stuff. So I am aware that two of these episodes, the last two episodes, are like, I think they're like semi-canon to the manga or something like that. I don't really know. It doesn't really bother me at all. Like, I think going forward, I'm probably never going to think about it. Like, to me, the anime is all that matters. I'm never going to read the manga. So I don't know if it's canon to the anime, then it's canon to me, I guess. But we'll see what gets referenced later on. But overall, this stuff was pretty great. I like this a lot. Okay, let's just say that there's like a few storylines in this. We start off with the Luffy one, which feels like the main one, okay? We're like getting progress on Gold Roger, we're meeting this new villain guy, whatever. Like, okay, this is all the main one. And I was enjoying that. In the first episode, I was like, this is awesome. This is like one of the best episodes ever. Oh my god. Of One Piece, okay? Not of anything, you know? And then, like, I find out, oh, we're gonna like switch between all these storylines. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm dreading this. And as soon as we'd like switch to like Zoro or something, I'm like, oh, can we go back to Luffy? But then every time it happened, I was like, you know what? I'm glad. I don't want to go back to Luffy. I want to continue on this Zoro storyline. I liked Zoro and this girl, and I want to go back to this Usopp and Daddy the Parent stuff. And there was one exception, which is the Sanji storyline, which I don't think I liked at all. Man, there was just nothing good about that. And we'll get to that when I get to my notes where I say like, I have nothing to say. But yeah, so overall, I thought this stuff was pretty good, and I'm excited for the future. Now, we can briefly talk about stuff from each storyline. I honestly don't have too much to say, but you know, I'll find some stuff, I'm sure. The first one is the main one, which is the Luffy and Smoker storyline. First, we meet Smoker. Firstly, I feel like this is a name I may have heard before, which is kind of strange because he doesn't really feel like he'll be like a really long-term character. It feels like he basically lives in Log Town, and I don't think we're gonna go back here very often. Like, maybe we will one day, and I'm sure we'll see him again one day, like after we're done here, but like, I don't think he's going to become a crew member or anything, but it is a name I feel like I've heard before. But he was cool. I liked him. How can I describe him? I guess his whole existence is a joke, like a lot of One Piece characters, where he smokes a lot. Because he smokes a lot, he's got smoke around him. And his name is Smoker. And I'm like, okay, this is like kind of funny. I like it. Now, I don't like smoking in media, okay? I find it very cringe when someone is like smoking and we're meant to think it's cool, but obviously it's like the lamest, like most cringy thing ever. But in this case, it's a joke, so it's funny, so we like it. So Smoker, good guy. Also, there's a really cool small bit of characterization early where a little girl runs into him with her ice cream, and her ice cream like gets broken, or you can't break an ice cream, I guess, but falls on the ground, and you think he's gonna get mad at her because he's like this evil guy, but no, he apologizes and gives her money so that she can buy 5 scoops of ice cream, and it was awesome. So we like Smoker. Smoker's great, but the other main stuff in this set of episodes, beyond meeting Smoker and like learning a bit about him and thinking he was like super cool and all that, and him going and beating up these random pirates who like they thought might have been Luffy, the other stuff we get is learning about Gold Roger. So this was super cool. Like, I think the main appeal of this is like building up the reputation of who Gold Roger was and how he was viewed by people and everything. And then obviously seeing him when he's younger, seeing his execution, like all of this is super cool. Like, to me, he was way more, at least the way the people viewed him was way more of like an actual brute force, like warrior, crazy, like strong person than I would have expected. Like, I would have expected he would be like the captain, you know? He's like the guy in charge and is like kind of, he embodies the spirit of a pirate. But that's not the reputation he has. He is like, firstly, he's incredibly feared, he's incredibly respected, he's incredibly strong, like where this guy at the bar was like telling Luffy about, I even wrote them down, where were they? We have Eric Down, the man known as King. We got Silver, the world's greatest gunman, and then the giant Gowns brothers is what I wrote down, and these are all crazy strong people, but Gold Roger, he could beat all of them, easily. But it's like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. So that was a big like subversion of what I was expecting. Gold Roger is actually strong. Now, who knows if he actually is strong, or there's just the reputation that's like built around him, but it was cool to see it. And it was also super cool to see him younger before he enters the Grand Line. I don't have anything to say about like, oh, there was like, this is an interesting thing we saw when he was young. It was just cool to see it, where it's like, man, this used to just be a guy who would go to bars, and this was before he started his grand journey on the Grand Line that everyone is going to know him for. Like, it's just cool. I like it. It's awesome. Yeah. And then seeing his execution from Smoker's perspective, which was apparently 22 years ago to the day, which is like a kind of crazy amount of time. I thought it would be more recent, but yeah, this was awesome. Like the giant crowd, just his like calm demeanor, or like, I think they said it was like he embodied the demeanor of a pirate, or like the king of the pirates or something. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Look at him. He's like walking all slowly and cool, and he's like smiling and stuff. Oh, this was cool. And then we get this one really cool, like high detail artwork of him, and then I think Smoker's in the background or something like that looking at him, and it's awesome. So I like this stuff. The more backstory stuff we get for these like characters, like obviously the Shanks and his crew and Gold Roger and all this, I love it. I love it. Give me more of it. Give me a whole arc on this, okay? I would love it so much. Or wait a few hundred episodes until I'm way more invested, and then give me the arc, okay? My goodness, good stuff. And then I wrote down the quote here, which is from the opening. They've actually told me this before, and maybe I've seen the scene. I don't remember, like if it's been shown previously. But I do remember, especially in this episode, obviously, because they have a whole focus on it, which is the execution of Gold Roger. And he says, "My treasure, if you want it, you can have it. Find it. I left everything this world has to offer there." Firstly, these are incredibly like ambiguous words. They could have a million different readings. Secondly, it is in Japanese and I'm just reading subtitles, so there could be like a bunch of different ways of interpreting these words or understanding them differently if you're like a native Japanese speaker or anything. But like, what location is he talking about? Like, why is it ambiguous? Like, what does he mean when he says everything the world has to offer? Like, this is just, I don't know, they're ambiguous words. It's interesting. He doesn't mention the One Piece. Someone else, like the other people in the crowd, mention it to him. He kind of like has a weird reaction to it where I'm like, oh, is this like a thing? Is this like a myth he made up, the One Piece or something like that? All of this is super interesting. And I feel like to get more like concrete speculation or more like hypotheses about what he actually means in this moment, or what he's thinking and feeling and what he's trying to express, we have to know him better. We don't know him very well yet. We know him from the perspective of other people. We don't know him as a person. We don't know what he was like living his life, what he thought about himself, who he surrounded himself with. Like, we don't know any of these things, right? I hope one day we do get to learn about it. It is also possible that we never do get that perspective, right? The king of the pirates, like if we see his perspective, it might take away from like the experience of Luffy getting to that point, right? But then also at the same time, if we see his perspective, it could make a really cool contrast to what Luffy becomes, right? To see like the two different paths of becoming the world's like the king of the pirates, you know? I don't know. All of this is just cool stuff. I enjoyed seeing it. I enjoy backstories like this. And Gold Roger is super interesting, so I hope we get more of him. And then this storyline with Luffy, obviously, he goes and sees the execution platform, and that moment itself is like super cool, where it's like, man, like this is where the story began. You know, this is where Gold Roger was executed. Oh my goodness, there used to be a giant crowd who were all looking up there as the king of the pirates was executed. So cool. So that was awesome when Luffy saw it. But that's the Luffy Smoker storyline. I don't have anything else really to say about that. The other storyline, the next one I guess to talk about, is the Zoro and Tashigi storyline. So the big thing to say is that, oh my god, she looks like Kuina. Now, obviously, it's like we're shipping these two, I guess. Like, that's what it's meant to imply, I'm guessing. Actually, now that I think about it, it is interesting. I feel like I made this exact same point last time when I was talking about Kuina and Zoro, where I was like, I don't actually know if the story is trying to ship them together or not, like be a romantic thing or a friendship thing. I think in the Zoro Kuina one, it was more obvious, where it was like meant to be a shipping, like romance thing, purely because Zoro blushed when she like touched her boobs or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay, it's like a thing here. This storyline, I guess, is less so like that, where it's like she kind of not looks up to, but she kind of like is interested in Zoro, what do they call him? Why did I forget his name? It's not Zoro the Bounty Hunter. What is it? Roronoa Zoro, the pirate bounty. I don't know why I forgot his title, okay? Anyway, she knows his famous like bounty hunter like thing, and she's interested in like going and meeting him and like taking his swords, right? It's just interesting that she looks like Kuina. Like, I guess it could be a friendship thing where it's like, oh, he sees his friend in her, and maybe one day they'll meet again and they'll be friends, or I have no idea. I don't know where it's going, but it's interesting, you know? She looks like Kuina. It obviously reminds him of her. Like, is this a relationship we'll see going forward? I'm not sure. Like, it is weird to me where it's like, I feel like the people in Logtown right now, they feel like they exist in Logtown and they will only ever exist in Logtown. Like, they're not leaving. Like, I don't think Smoker's leaving. I don't think Shigi's leaving. I'll be honest, I don't think we're seeing Daddy again, because I'm pretty sure that was like a filler episode. But stuff like this, or it feels like they're just gonna be stuck here and we're never gonna see him again. So I don't really have a big hope for like Tashigi showing up and having a big like storyline with Zoro or anything like that. Although I would love it, you know. I do like Tashigi. She is very cool. She's very funny. She wears glasses. You know, she's strong, but she doesn't look like she would be strong. She's very knowledgeable, but at the same time is, you know, not very confident. And she like, whenever she accidentally almost got Zoro to buy the cursed sword, she like freaks out because she like basically almost killed him. It's funny. She's funny. We like her. Tashigi's great. Not as great as Kuina though. You know, we love Kuina. Firstly, they're completely different characters. The only similarity is that they are both swordsmen, and they both look similar. Besides that, they are night and day completely different. Yeah, Tashigi is almost like Kuina if she wasn't worried about like the whole gender stuff, because Tashigi doesn't seem to care at all. Okay, she's a marine, she's got a place, she's got a mission, she's gonna go take all the swords from all these like crazy pirates and bounty hunters and everything. But Kuina was like obviously worried about it, and she was younger, and she was scared that when she grew up, she's like not she's gonna be outcompeted by the men who were stronger than her. Yeah, very different. Like them both. You know, I'll probably stop comparing them there. Okay, they're two separate characters. So yeah. One thing I want, though, is for Zoro to fight her, okay? I'm sure it'll never happen. This is too good to be true. That'd be too fun and too interesting of a fight. But my goodness, the whole time I was hoping, I'm like, Zoro, come on, fight her. Like, who's gonna win? Is it obviously, like, at the beginning of this, it's a bit uncertain, because it's like, oh, this mysterious swordswoman, like, who works for the Marines as, like, a captain, and I can't remember if she's actually a captain or if she was some other title, but she's, like, really good and beating all these Marines up. Like, would she be able to beat Zoro? Is this, like, a thing? Will this be, like, his next Kuina, like, competition of, like, who he's gonna strive to be like? But then by the end of this, it's like Zoro has this reputation, and she is kind of looking up to him in that reputation. It's like, oh, I guess the implication is that he is far exceeding her in terms of current capability, right, with the sword. So I guess it wouldn't be too interesting of a fight anymore, but I would still like to see it, okay? It would be very fun. I had this like headcanon thing at the beginning where I'm like, oh my god, what if he fights her initially without the glasses because he broke the glasses, and then he wins, but then she puts the glasses on and beats him, and it's like, oh my god, she wasn't wearing her glasses, that's why she was sucked so much, but now she can destroy you, Zoro. I didn't know that happened, but you know, headcanons, we love it. But I have some lore I wrote down about Tashigi. First, she wants to collect here's a bunch of swords she wants to collect from all the bad people around the world, all the criminals and pirates and so on and so forth. She wants to collect the 21 top Wazamonos. She wants to collect the 21 Wazamonos. She also wants to collect the 50 Ryo Wazamonos, which I have no idea what this means. This might be a thing in Japanese where like swords are like named, this is like a type of sword or something. I have no idea. My assumption would be that like the creator of these swords is called like Wazamono, and he made like different variants or something like that, but who knows? I don't know enough about my lore when it comes to Japanese like sword making. So yeah, actually that's all I've got for like the lore stuff. I thought I had more for her, but yeah, cool. We like her. She's great. Tashigi's great. Her like interactions with Zoro are fantastic. And then there's a scene at the end where Zoro basically runs into the cursed sword, and he's like, I'm gonna get this, and he like flips it up, and he's like, I'm gonna test my luck, puts his arm out, and then it like spins around his arm, and it's like super cool. So I like that. I also like the shopkeeper guy who was initially kind of trying to scam him, and then later on when he finds out that the sword doesn't hurt him, and it flips all around him, he goes and gets his family like heirloom treasure, like the most valuable thing his family has, and gives it to Zoro for free. I'm like, I love this guy. This is great. It's been so long since he's seen a proper swordsman, you know? So I like this. This was a good storyline. Then we have the Usopp, Daddy, and Carol storyline. This was good as well. I like this a lot. I think I don't have too much to say for this one. It's a pretty quick, like it's one episode. It is pretty straightforward. We get like a little bit of backstory for Usopp's dad and everything, and seeing Shanks there and Daddy, and all that stuff was great, but I don't have too much to say about it. The main thing I want to say is that there's like two really fun elements to this set of episodes. One of them is the Usopp and Carol dynamic, which is great. I love it. It's fantastic. So like when I say dynamic, I mean there's like Carol in her like weirdly like frilly dress, which is like very out of place from like everyone else there, which is very funny. And she has like a split personality kind of, where sometimes she's like very cute and innocent and like childlike, and then other times she's like very serious and angry and like scary, you know? And then it's her interacting with goofy looking like Usopp, and he's swapping between like being confident and lying and like making up all this stuff to like sound like he's bigger than he is, and then being unconfident and scared and like trying to run away and like be safe and all that. And it's a very funny dynamic. I like these two interacting, so I hope we get more of this. But you know what, I'm pretty sure it's a filler episode, so I don't think we're gonna get more of this, but that was good. Then there's the whole element, the second element, which is the other appeal of this episode, which is Daddy the goat. We love him. He's fantastic. He's so self-serious where he's like always like, I don't know, being so, I don't have a good way to say it. It's just like he's so serious all the time and stoic and like not really saying much, except for when he's with Carol and he has like a soft spot for her, obviously his daughter, and he's like finds her adorable and everything, and it's very cute. So we like Daddy. Daddy's great. But the best stuff to happen in this episode is after he tells his story about Usopp's dad and how he beat him, and then Usopp starts like crying. I think he's like crying. He's like very like emotional over the fact that like he says, I have a quote here: "I've never seen a man as strong and as kind as your dad before." And he's talking about Daddy obviously here. And the idea is that Daddy is just like, he's sharing this embarrassing story of like losing to Usopp's dad. And it's just like, no one would ever do this. You know, there are so many strong men out there, but no one would ever share such an embarrassing story. But Daddy, you know, he's a great man. He would share this. He is so brave. It's awesome. So I liked all this. This was really good. Great storyline. I liked it. Don't have much to say. I guess Usopp also shoots the thing at the end and hits it right in the hat. And I'm like, oh, also the crown, I guess is what they say, I think. Awesome. Great stuff. Yeah. Then we have the final storyline, which is Sanji and Fiery Carmen. I don't like it. I don't have anything to say about it. That's where we're at, okay? It was kind of boring. I'll be honest, at this point, I don't really like the cooking element to like Sanji. I'll be honest, Sanji probably is my like least favorite of these bunch of characters. He has a good backstory with like Zeph and everything, but like all he really does is like either cook food, which I'm not too interested in, or like be attracted to women, and I'm also not too interested in that. So I don't know, Sanji at this point to me not very interesting, and this storyline also not very interesting at all. And it was also kind of weird that Fiery Carmen knew Sanji when he was a kid. It felt really out of place to me. I don't know why. Like I feel like maybe if I go back and if she was like in a background of a scene or something, but it just feels like she was just like retroactively like inserted there. I have no idea. Yeah. Boring, weird, didn't like it. And then my other like final thing, which I don't actually have notes on, but I just thought of it now, is that not really much Nami stuff in this at all. She's basically absent from this, not in terms of like absent, like she's not there, because she is very clearly there. She interacts with, I think she like briefly sees Zoro at one point. She like is briefly in the Usopp episode. She's briefly in the Sanji episode, but she doesn't really have like her own kind of storyline or anything. She's just kind of like floating around and doesn't really do too much. And yeah, I don't have much to say beyond. It is weird to like give everyone else kind of like a storyline, not her, but yeah. Beyond that, there's one more thing I just wanted to say, which is that there's also this ongoing storyline of Buggy and Alvida and like their crew and all that. They're going around trying to find Luffy, and they like constantly run into him but don't realize that it's him and stuff like that, and they're like looking the wrong way. I think the first time they did it, it was like pretty good and funny, where like they're both looking around and they're often looking at like Buggy and Luffy are looking in opposite directions, but they can't see each other and they're looking through like binoculars or whatever, and then like Buggy's looking high and Luffy's looking low and they're like missing each other. That was funny. I like that. I don't know. It feels like it's going on for quite a while now. I don't like this bit anymore. I think I'm done with it. And I'm not, to be honest, I'm not really looking forward to like what's gonna happen here. Like what, like I know obviously next episode it feels like we're setting up for like a 3-way or 4-way kind of fight, or like an interaction where we have Luffy and then Smoker and then we have Alvida and Buggy, who are all seemingly, I assume, all showing up at that same place, the execution site. Smoker, I get it. Like he's gonna fight Luffy, maybe they'll like become friends or something at the end. Kind of cool, you know, I'm excited for that. The Alvida and Buggy stuff, I think I'm less, like I don't really have much of an interest in it. Like I don't know, I just don't know what to expect. Like Buggy's motivation for finding Luffy is kind of, I don't know, kind of boring, where it's like, oh, he like embarrassed me and I want to, like, I don't really, I guess you want to fight Luffy or just want to kill him. Like, I'm not too invested in that. The Alvida one is slightly more interesting, where it's like, why is she so skinny? Like, what's going on here? Like, there could be somewhat interesting interactions there. Like, is Luffy going to recognize her? Like, is he not going to recognize her at all? Like, even after she says who she is? Like, it's somewhat interesting. But to be honest, I'm not really too interested in that either. But I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll turn around. So it'll be my favorite stuff in One Piece ever. But I doubt it. But yeah, now I have one miscellaneous note, which is that there's a new opening and it's pretty bad and I'll probably never watch it again. I didn't like it. The first opening was really good. I like that a lot. I didn't watch it every time, but I watched it every now and then where I was like, oh, I like this song. I like this intro. This one is like boring and bad and I don't like the song. The visuals are not very good. I didn't like it. I won't watch it ever again, probably. So yeah. Actually, that's it. That's all I've got, because I had like a section for lore, but I've already talked about the lore stuff that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, that's One Piece. Next time, will I be wrapping up this arc? Potentially. I guess we'll see how many episodes I get in. But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and see you next time.